Okay, everybody, Chris Grant here again. I want to get a little bit into intervals as it relates to sight reading and how the two fit together. I'm not going to get too much into music theory. I'll save that for another time. But right now, I just want to get into the relationship of notes, the distance between notes as you're sight reading. So right now I have a major scale going up, and this is the root note, and it's also middle C. So it's a identifier on your piano as to where middle C is. So it's a good landmark for your piano. And this is the C major scale going up. I have it in both clefs. And this is also middle C in the bass clef. So that's another, major landmark on your piano. So you should be able to quickly identify middle C even in your very early stages of sight reading. So when you stack notes on top of middle C in the key of C, you get these chords. So these are major and minor triads, and you'll see these even in your very early stages of sight reading. You'll see this group of three notes, and you'll quickly identify that this is a C chord: C, E, and G. And I call this instant recognition. You see that those three notes stacked on top of each other. You're not thinking, all right, that's the root, that's the third, and that's the fifth. You're not thinking all that. You see these three notes and you instantly recognize it as a C chord, which this will be seen over and over again in your music, as you sight read. And likewise, as you go up the scale, or as you go up the chords in the key of C, you'll see this is a D minor, this is E minor, F, G, A, B minor flat 5, or a B diminished, and a C again, an octave higher. So as you sight read more and more, you'll see these groupings. And if you stack yet another note on the triad, you'll get seventh chords. So this is a C major seventh, D minor seventh, E minor seventh, F major seventh, G 7, A major 7, B diminished 7, and a C major again. So even without, as you do a lot of sight reading, when you see these notes stacked on top of each other like this, you'll instantly know, okay, that's a C major 7th, that's a D minor 7th, without even thinking, because you'll be seeing these groupings over and over again as you sight read. Now, there'll be different variations of notes. This is just the notes stacked on top of each other. But you'll see inversions, you'll see, open chords, block chords. I'm not going to get into any of that, but I want to just get into the basics. So in Steve Vai's book, Videology, on page 14 and 15, it talks about intervals. Now, I put the intervals of a C major scale in right here. So this is the C note, so this would be a perfect 1 or first. And if you add a D note going up the scale, you have a major second, And when you add the E, it's a major third. An F is a perfect fourth. A G is a perfect fifth. An A is a major sixth. A B is a major seventh. And a C is an octave or a perfect eighth. So you'll see how the notes relate to one another as you sight read. Now you won't be thinking as you sight read that, oh, this is a major second and this is a perfect fifth. You'll see this group and you'll know that, okay, that's a C5 chord. And this is a C6 chord. You won't have time to really, you might be seeing things, your brain can work pretty fast when you identify the notes, but you'll be pretty much getting used to the spaces between the notes and quickly knowing where they are on the piano. So I'm going to do a few samples of what happens when I sight read, when I see sheet music. Okay, when I sight read, a few things are happening at the same time. So instant recognition, I know that's a D note. And then I know that this is a C and the D is one step above the C. So you could think of it as a C2. But that's pretty much for me another instant recognition. Now I see this as an inverted G chord. So it's a G with a B in the bass. And I know that that's the G root note. And then I see this as a D triad. And I see this as a D in the bass. So it's a combination of instant recognition. I could also think of this as, a fourth down. Or a fifth down, rather. So either way, it's either instant recognition, that's a G note, or this is a D note, or I know the interval. It's a fourth. So, and then again, this is a G triad with a G in the bass. And I see this just as notes. I instantly know that's a B and that's a D. And then I see another inversion, or the same inversion as over here. It's a G, but it's a G with a B in the bass, but the B is in the bass line. And then you have this inversion with the D in the bass of the G chord. And there's a D in the bass clef. Now here, it's supposed to be an A minor chord. So it's the A minor triad with a C in the bass. And then here you have a D7 chord, first inversion with a D in the bass. And then you keep doing, this is what I'm seeing as I sight read. And I also see the relationship between the notes. Like I know that's a D and this is a step up to an E. And then this is two steps up to a G. and that's back down to an F sharp. So it's just one step down, one step down, one step down, and it keeps going one step down and then a step up. So back to the G with a D in the bass, and then a D triad with an F sharp in the bass. So either way, my mind is analyzing it either by steps or intervals or by instant recognition. So that's my demonstration on intervals and sight reading, and what I'm looking at or what I'm looking for as I sight read. Now, if you want a much deeper dive into sight reading, watch Nare Soul's video on sight reading. I'll put the link in the description down below, and I highly recommend it. I watch her channel from time to time. She's got a lot of good videos. So this is my tip for this week, and we'll see you next time.